Anybody ever heard the term coking? I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, the underneath side of that piston is all black. You got some dark going on down in the crankcase. This isn't a severe case yet. Like I said, I've seen a lot worse, but this one's here for work. You got one little scratch on the piston intake side. We got a bunch of black coking on the exhaust side. Starting, blow the rings, coking. We look in cylinder. We look down, the transfer ports are all black. The whole cylinder walls, everything have a dark appearance to them. But a lot of black soot build up in the transfer ports. And I don't know, let's see. Not a lot of buildup. Exhaust port, there's some in there, but it's not ridiculous. It's not abnormal, I would say. A little bit wet there. But we look at the muffler, it's dry. Kind of a normal looking muffler, right? Muffler cover, normal. Spark plug, it's kind of black on one side. This side hasn't turned color at all, so it's brand new plug, or close to brand new plug. And I don't recommend Champion plugs at all. Just my opinion. Don't like them. Had a lot of issues with them. So what causes all of this? And you'll hear 1,000 people tell you it's the oil. It's the oil, it's the oil, it's the oil. I hear that all the time. And in some cases, yes, it is the oil that causes it. But when it's the oil, the exhaust port will be plugged up. It'll be 1/4 of an inch thick in there. Half the exhaust is closed. And then that's oil creating those issues. Has this been cleaned off? Not that I can tell. I can't tell that somebody's been in there and scraped all that carbon out of there at one point. I don't believe so. I do believe this has probably been rebuilt with a new piston. But it may be original. The saw is in really good shape. And if it's original, this doesn't have a lot of hours on it. Excuse me. The machine marks are all in there yet. I can feel them. I can hear them. There's no need to replace this piston. It's just got a lot of coking on it. And I do know that the Schaefer's oil will clean that coking out of there. A couple tanks of gas or so. So I'm not real concerned about the coking. I'm not going to take the piston off. I'm not going to spend hours and hours trying to remove coking. I'll run this thing runs a couple tanks of a good high detergent oil through it. It'll clean it up. But the cause is old fuel. And then there's those who are going to tell me that fuel never goes bad. Okay, you can believe what you want. Any fuel over 30 days old from the time that you bought the fuel is considered old fuel. It's more of an issue in the summer, much less of an issue in the winter. Although our winter fuel isn't as good as summer fuel. But the issue of gas going bad in a short amount of time is, a bigger problem in the summer because of heat than it is in the winter. And fuel stabilizers, all that. I know all you guys swear by this stuff. Your fuel will last a lifetime, right? I can buy it today, and in 10 years, that fuel's still going to be good with fuel stabilizer in it. You're kidding yourself. It doesn't work that way. The coking, it's not because the fuel stinks. It's not because it's gummy. It's not because of any of that. It's because of it doesn't burn hot enough or fast enough anymore, and it burns dirty. And that's what's causing this coking. The fuel is burning so slow that it is firing down into the transfer ports, all the way down into the crankcase, and it's making everything just dirty. Okay, it's old fuel, burns slow. And in the chainsaw industry, 2-cycle industry, we call it coking. It will start to bother things if the guy continues to run it months on end, with doing the same thing, gallons and gallons and gallons of gas. It does the same coking thing. And eventually you'll have carbon seizures when all this stuff starts coming off. Or, it cokes on there thick enough here to actually start making the piston tight. And you'll start getting seizures from it. At this point, I this doesn't bother me. It's just that it's there. And I wanted to show and give a little explanation of what it is, why it is. Coking is caused by oil, some, and it was more prevalent 20 years ago than it is today. The oils today are so much better, for 2-cycle than they were then. And we used to see coking, but we used to see these just plugged right up. You have a little 1/4-inch hole in there, that's all more it could breathe. And that's from oil. This to me, this doesn't appear to be an oil issue. This appears to be a fuel issue. Mainly old fuel that burns slow, burns dirty. It still makes enough heat to keep the muffler clean or dry. There's no oil buildup in here. It's dry. It's not like he's using too much oil where, it's just drooling with oil. It's not doing that. It's clean, dry. Can't blame the oil here in my mind. It's got to be fuel. The oil's burning, right? So, anyways, you can comment if you want. Don't have to. Until the next one.